Question: who killed the legendary martial arts master Bruce Lee? Or how did he die? There have been, over several decades, many conspiracy theories, but just cutting to the chase, I have grown up during the Bruce Lee era, and he's the one that inspired me to venture into martial arts. And I have loved it, martial arts that is, ever since. And I'm still inspired by Bruce Lee. He is the one that's responsible for the popularity of the martial arts. If the truth be told, if it be told, martial arts would have never reached the pinnacle that it is at today had it not been for the legendary Bruce Lee. If people give him his proper credit, it was not anyone else's uh, doing but him. And he did not do it intentionally. He just happened to be there and be the one who was expressing himself through martial arts, as he said. And people paid attention. So, how did he die? There are some that say that he died from the triads, some gang affiliated sector in China, so to speak, killed him. Some say that there was someone who administered some death touch that was responsible for his death. Someone said that he overdosed on drugs. Well, back in the 70s, 80s, when his mother was interviewed at the time, Grace Lee, she said that he died from a blood vessel bursting in his brain, edema, swelling of the brain, and so forth. Consequently, that's how my wife passed away, an aneurysm, if you will. God rest her soul. Jackie Chan, in an interview, was asked how Bruce Lee died. Now, Jackie Chan did a couple movies with Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon and Fist of Fury. He did that with Bruce Lee. He said Bruce Lee died in someone's hotel room, which he did. That's where he died. I say, here's the summation of it. This is me, and this is not my opinion. I agree with his mother that he died from a tumor, if you will, in his brain, a blood vessel bursting in his brain. What happened was Bruce Lee was on the set of a movie. He was tired. He had a headache. He went to an actress's hotel room, Betty Ting P at the time. She allowed him to rest there. He laid down and he couldn't be revived. She tried to wake him up after she had given him some form of medicine that was hers. He had an allergic reaction to it, and it caused the brain issue, if you will, And so after she did not succeed in waking him up, instead of her calling the hospital or an ambulance, she called producer Raymond Chow. He comes to the apartment or hotel, if you will, and attempts to wake Bruce Lee up, to no avail. So then he called an ambulance. They came, took him to the hospital. He's pronounced dead. Some say he died by misadventure. Just one of those things, natural death, if you will. So, and let me back up and say this. Bruce Lee was asked in the 60s about martial arts. He said, honestly, martial arts to me is expressing one's self. I believe that Bruce Lee did that. Bruce Lee was a perfectionist. He was a martial arts aficionado. Bruce Lee, again, was a perfectionist as it related to martial arts. He studied the art of fighting, not sport martial arts, but fighting. And he was a physical specimen of excellence. As a matter of fact, bodybuilder during that time, Joe Wilder, said that if you had looked at his body and placed him in an anatomy class, you could point out virtually all of the muscles in his body, his skeletal muscles, and point them all out. That's how defined Bruce Lee's body was. Bruce Lee even had exercises that were developed for him by certain friends and students, so he could develop himself so that he could be not only efficient but faster and flexible. So not only being a perfectionist at his craft, training daily, arduous training, he was also a movie producer and a movie actor and an instructor and a father of 2 children who was married. That's a lot. So I believe that the amount of stress and weight that Bruce Lee bore as his particular celebrity is what killed him. He died at a very young age of 32 years old. His struggle for perfection is what killed him. He achieved it, but it cost him his life. As a matter of fact, Enter the Dragon, his last film that he completed, he did not get to see the results. It was the biggest box office hit between a Hong Kong and American movie combined. It made millions of dollars at the box office, and he died the week before it was released. So that's what killed Bruce Lee. The stress of being Bruce Lee, being a perfectionist. He was great at what he did, and that sacrifice that he made to be who he was is the reason that most of us have done what we have done successfully in the martial arts, and why martial arts is as popular as it is in the world today. And that was it. And that was all. Think on these things.